Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keeping in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so please take the messages that do and check out your other placements because you may have more messages there. All right, Scorpio, what is the energy around the week ahead for Scorpio? Why? Oh, interesting. Happy. Orphans. All that glitters. Okay, very interesting mix of cards here for you, Scorpio. Bottom of the deck is conflict and chaos, or chaos and conflict, I should say. So, interesting cards here. Scorpio, you might be really asking yourself why something happened, why you're in a situation that you're in right now, or why something from the past happened. Orphaned, I feel like this is coming up, but it's interesting because we also have all that glitters and happy. And so it's very interesting. I feel like these three cards tell a really, really fascinating story because it's almost like something that appears like rejection or like, you know, you don't belong, or someone dismissed you, or they're not seeing you, or you feel orphaned. That's not what it appears to be. This is actually going to bring in a lot of joy. And right now, I think that you're focused on the rejection, okay? You're focused on this unhappy situation, but ultimately, it's going to bring in a lot of happiness. I feel like this is actually a blessing in some ways, something that you're questioning. Why did this have to happen? And that's made you sort of have this emotional reaction of feeling outcast, of feeling like you don't belong, a feeling of like you have no security, or that you don't understand your own identity anymore. Like there is this situation around you that has brought you to a place where you're really questioning what was the meaning of this loss. This almost feels like an identity crisis, Scorpio, okay? And so, but ultimately, it's not as it appears. Right now, it appears like it's an identity crisis and that you feel very uncertain and like you're not really even recognizing certain things that you used to see as part of yourself. Now you see them as very separate from yourself. And you're having a hard time sort of understanding why this situation has come. And it may be time where you feel like a lot of confusion, and there could be sort of a gap in where you thought you would be and where you find yourself, right? And it's interesting to see all that glitters with happy, because that really makes me think that as you're questioning why this loss or this identity crisis or this feeling of not recognizing and feeling separate from everything has happened, it's actually going to bring in a lot of joy and happiness. But it feels like chaos and conflict right now. That was on the bottom of the deck, card 33. Feels like a lot of shifting and moving parts right now. And it's almost like you just have to let the dust settle, to really understand what this really is about, because it's not as it appears. Very interesting beginning to your reading. Let's jump into the tarot card, Scorpio, and see what messages we'll receive for you. Scorpio. Tower. Yeah, this is huge. This is a big moment for you in your life right now, Scorpio. You're receiving a lot of like clearing energy, like things. It must feel like a bit of an identity crisis right now. I feel you. This is a time of truth coming through and revealing where there was illusions. It's clearing and stripping down the falseness that was surrounding you. And of course, as these things fall away, you might be resisting that. You might be saying, no, that was meaningful. I want to hang on to that. not knowing that by actually surrendering to this, you're moving into a very happy environment where your energy is alive again. And so I feel like you were in a time of stagnation, but it was stable. It was a stable period of stagnation. And now it's like the stagnation is being cleared. And so everything feels like it's chaotic. The status quo has been disturbed. And so you might be having a strong reaction to that. But I feel like the message for you in this reading is to surrender, because there is more to this than you realize. Moon card. There's so much happening, but it feels very unknown because you can't see anything yet. Like it's all energy shift. And there's so much beneath the surface that, and I just noticed the Hierophant in reverse. So you're really like, your energy is dispelling anything that feels outdated or stagnant or no longer relevant. And what it's leaving behind is this feeling of like, well, I don't know who I am anymore. And yet I think you're actually going to understand who you are on a very incredible level right now. But you've got to sort of surrender to this. You see that Nine of Cups in reverse coming out next to the Death card. I mean, you can't make this up. This is wild stuff. You're in a period right now, Scorpio, where everything is feeling like what's on the bottom of the deck, like a heartbreak. And it's really hard to let go of that question, why? Why did this have to happen? Why does this have to change? Why do I have to endure this suffering right now? And when I see that Nine of Cups in reverse, it makes me think that it's like you feel that there is this unfulfilled desire, you know, that it's like you feel like, how could this happen? It's very interesting, and yet it's all happening to transform your situation and bring in a true level of fulfillment. But it's like there's a lot of stuff from the past that has to go. And there's this emotional aspect here where you're healing from something that you see as a loss. And it's almost so powerful that it's overwhelming you to feel like you don't even know who you are anymore, right? Like that is a feeling that you're holding right now, where it's like it's going to be different for every Scorpio listening, and I don't want to make this moment feel like, oh, you just have to let it go and make it seem so easy, because depending on what you're dealing with, that might be harder than it sounds, right? But it definitely feels like there is a need here to sort of try to put your mind at rest when it comes to being a little pessimistic about this. I don't think that's going to be what helps based on what I'm seeing here, right? That Four of Swords in reverse tells me that you need to recover and focus on feeling like yourself again. So instead of asking why this happened and then coming up with a bunch of answers that are sort of really pessimistic, like, putting yourself down or saying, well, it's because I suck or I deserve this, and all of these things that could just end up making you feel worse. Like, instead of looking at this as a transformation, and that transformation can get you to a place where the world becomes very small again. It clears away anything that was an illusion, any heartbreak that was an illusion, anything that you think of and you're like, well, I missed out on that opportunity. Suddenly that's all gone, and what's left is you needing to sort of focus on feeling less pessimistic about your future. And that's the message coming through here. But I know that for some of you, these moments of loss and feeling like you don't belong, and this identity crisis, it doesn't feel like it's enough to say focus on self-care and don't be so pessimistic. Like, that almost feels, it might even feel insulting to hear. But it's really what's coming through here for you, Scorpio, that there is a sudden sort of moment of clarity on its way to you here, but it's coming only if you can shift your perspective with this Ace of Swords. Like, it's almost dependent on you being able to have this aha moment of clarity, to be like, oh, I understand now. None of this served me. That's why it had to go. And I'm in the situation that I'm in because I'm about to be reborn into a new timeline. And again, those are sort of things that we have to blend the spiritual with the material world here, because sometimes if we just focus on the material world, we have a really difficult time accepting that sometimes things shift for reasons that we might not realize until later. You know what I mean? Very interesting. That 10 of Wands on the bottom tells me that there is this difficulty to say I am struggling, or I need help, or it's difficult to set down these beliefs that you're holding that may be pessimistic in nature, or these burdens that the Tower is trying to clear out for you, but you're almost still hanging on to them, again, because it's status quo, right? It's what we know. But I feel like this has been a very interesting reading. I just want to clarify here a couple of things. This need to focus on trusting the process and not questioning it too much. There's that 3 of Swords in reverse again. Yeah, letting go of these old wounds, allowing yourself to heal, Scorpio, allowing yourself to heal and to have that clarity to see the truth about your situation. We're seeing the Justice card come out here. So again, this feeling of having the capacity to do this evaluation, but to not be overly judgmental, and to not feel like all hope is lost, and to trust that anything that is shifting had to shift for a purpose, to bring in this transformation, to bring in this rebirth. And you're feeling very pessimistic about it, and that there's no way to change how things are coming out. You know what I mean? Like with this 5 of Swords, it's like there's a part of you that feels, I feel the word despair, where there's despair around the outcome surrounding the situation that you're in, where you sort of feel like there's nothing that can be done about it. And in those moments, the only thing we can really do is surrender. And not surrender in the sense of resignation. You're not resigning yourself to this and succumbing to it and giving up. No. But surrendering to things that we cannot change, trusting that all will be well. And again, as I say those words, I keep thinking, this could be a hard pill to swallow, this reading. That will probably be the title of this reading, is that this is a hard pill to swallow, considering what these cards are suggesting, that there is resistance here. There is a lack of acceptance here. There is this feeling of unmet desires and disappointment and dissatisfaction and rejection, and all of the hardest pills to swallow are present in this reading. And yet the guidance is trust the process. That's a hard pill to swallow. Let's see what your animal spirit card will be to close your reading, Scorpio. Time to heal. Yeah, it is a time to heal. You know, you've got the snake spirit here, card 5-5, and you've got a number of 5s in your reading. So this is big shift. This is big change. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but try to take it with the love that is coming through. You know, there is something here for you to heal. And moments of healing can be full of conflict, full of chaos, full of disappointment, full of sadness, full of remorse, full of regret, full of feelings of futility and disappointment and hopelessness and despair. But that's exactly what is healing right now for you. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm sending you so much love and light, Scorpio, in this difficult reading. If it's resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. I would love to connect with you more. If you're interested in a personal reading, the link for that is in the description below. All right, my friends, I'm sending you so much love and light. Have a great week. Take care.